So ayun, there's another delay na naman sa videos ko just because of this one thing. Just this one thing, this turned this perfectly good bike into an unusable mess. This thing, yes, this bike caused by this. Anyway, as you have probably seen in the thumbnail, yeah, that's clickbait right there. In today's video, we're gonna be tackling about a comparison between the two most prominent bikes in today's market. These two mainly being the GSX-S150 from Suzuki and the MT-15 from Yamaha. So, alam nyo, halos parehas ng dalawang to eh. Diba, bottom line agad. Halos parehas lang sila. Pero syempre, there are these small differences na makikita mo lang or mapapansin mo lang kapag you're up close. Diba? Hindi lang puro spec sheets yung tinitignan. Hindi lang puro kung ano nakasulat sa website. And hindi lang din puro kung ano yung naririnig mo lang sa tabi-tabi. You have to do your own digging. Siyempre, kung kaya, do a test ride. Disclaimer lang yan ha. Mas maganda talaga yung actual experience ng bike kumpara sa like these videos on the internet. Ang mga videos na to, they are just there to inform you more on the details before you try those things, before ka mag-test ride, before you even decide to drop the hammer and buy a bike. So, let's start up the video. So, etong dalawang bikes nga na to, isa sa mga hottest selling na sport touring bikes in the market ngayon. Hindi yung sport touring like Ducati Super Sport. No, yung parang sporty yung design niya, but it's more oriented on city and yun nga, like the name implies, for touring. So, let's start the video off with the Yamaha MT-15. So, saan nga ba galing itong Yamaha MT-15? Anong line of motorcycles nga ba ang pinanggalingan nito? Hindi naman to history lesson. So, let's get right into yung shorter details kung saan nanggaling itong MT-15. It comes from the maximum torque or MT line of bikes ng Yamaha. This consists of all naked bikes. Puro naked bikes ito. Parang counterpart ng R series. For example, you have an R3. It has a counterpart of the MT-03, MT-07, and stuff like that, MT-09, which is one of the best sounding triples out there. Siyempre second lang to Triumph because, come on, those things sound really good. Ito yung medyo nahuli sa market na bike. Not necessarily last or under-designed porket nahuli, but they took their time to study the market kung ano nga ba yung kakagat sa mga consumers na motorcycle. And I guess they succeeded because ang ganda ng kinalabasan. Siguro sa iba, hindi nila taste yung body designs ng MT-15. But for me personally, it looks nice kahit yung single headlight na projector lang in front. It looks really nice. Now, ikakumpara naman natin sa kanya, yung GSX lineup, the GSX-S, the GSX-R, both 150cc. In the European markets, meron silang 125cc with ABS. But, syempre, why would we focus on that kung nasa Pilipinas nga tayo? Now, the GSX series of bikes have gone a long, long way. Galing pa yung iba sa 80s, it traces its roots on a very, very long history of very good motorcycles. Pero syempre, hindi naman natin pwede sabihin na it's absolutely on par with yung big brothers na yung 600s, yung 750s. No, syempre this is a whole new segment of bikes. Yun nga, yung 150 class. And although yung mga features na mga yon nagdi-drizzle down to the GSX lineup, honestly, as a GSX owner, may mga parts talaga na they skimped out. Hindi nila ginawang premium na. Especially those small instances, yung mga maliliit na details. But not to bash on the GSX or anything. Both the MT-15 and the GSX-S150 are great motorcycles. So, how about let's just get on to the specs and rektahin na natin, diba? Yun naman yung hinanap nyo sa video na to. Let's start with the engine. Honestly, they are pretty similar engines, but there is one difference between the two of them na nagdi-differentiate ng power output or how they deliver their power. So the MT-15 first. The MT-15 sports single-cylinder, liquid-cooled, single overhead cam. We'll get into that later. And it's a 58mm by 58.7mm engine. Meaning, yung stroke niya is almost on par lang dun sa bore niya. Ang advantage ng design na to, mas efficient siya and torquey in the lower rev range, pero it skimps out on the high revving performance na brought on by the GSX. And ano ba yung engine ng GSX? Well, it's a 62mm by 48.8mm engine. It's a single cylinder, also liquid cooled, and it's a dual overhead cam engine. So, napakatagal ng debate yung dual overhead cam and single overhead cam na yan. But since for some reason stick to single overhead cam talaga yung Yamaha, mas pinili nilang i-improve na lang yung design. So, they put up a variable valve actuation system. So, ano ginagawa nito? Basically, ang ginagawa nito is liniliitan niya yung lift habang lower pa yung RPM. This gives the bike more torque and more usability sa lower rev range. But kapag tumataas na yung RPMs, nag-a-adjust din yung actuation ng valves. Tumataas din yung lift, meaning there's more air, more fuel to breathe in, and more top-end power. And on GSX side, sa Suzuki, they just went with the dual overhead cam system, meaning parang raw power talaga siya. Hindi siya yung maraming different features. It went more on, eto yung standard namin, dual overhead cams, it revs really hard, the power is way up in the rev range, up to 10,500 RPM. Kung power-wise naman, the MT-15 has 19 brake horsepower, and the GSX-S150 has 18.90 brake horsepower. So sa totoo lang, hindi nyo talaga mapapansin yung 0.1 na yan. Parang nag-plug ka lang ng cellphone sa charger ng motor mo and that's it. Nabawi mo na yung 0.1 horsepower. Siyempre, depende kung fast charging. But anyway, so the way they deliver their power is, ang MT-15, yun nga like I said, meron siyang beefy torque sa lower rev range and it has ample power sa higher rev range. On the GSX naman, it has, let's be honest, there absolutely nothing in the lower rev range. Parang two-stroke. Pagdating naman sa higher rev range, about 10,000 to 10,500 RPM, ayan na, nagigising na yung dual overhead cam system mo. Maganda siya for racing. And andun yung lesser parts to fail. Hindi lang, syempre, it's a dual overhead cam, dalawang cams, pero yung actuation system niya, that's one less thing to worry about. Overall, both these engines are really nice. Meron silang sariling quirks and, features na specifically built ng manufacturer nila just to release this bike in the 150cc class with all the features of the engines na kailangan mo. How about the sound? Sa iba, napaka-importante nito. So, let's take a listen. Here is a stock exhaust system from an MT-15. And here is one from the GSX-S150. Yeah, I know, they sound pretty similar. Pero sa totoo lang, medyo mas smooth yung sa MT-15 kumpara sa GSX-S150. Hindi lang muffler-wise, pero dahil nga dun sa VVA, which closes the valves much quicker, mas smooth kapag lower RPM. Pero let's be honest, mas maganda yung tunog ng GSX-S150 kapag higher revs due to its dual overhead cam system. Reliability. Honestly, no question ang reliability sa dalawang to. Yamaha and Suzuki are both really good bikes. But a drawback ng Suzuki GSX-S150 is yung price ng parts niya. Sobrang pricey talaga, lalo na yung mga OEM parts niya, yung mga galing kasa. Super pricey. I'm not that 100% fond sa mga pricing ng MT-15, but sa mga nakikita ko, they don't look for parts as much kumpara sa GSX-S. Pero like the norm, like we always say, depende sa may-ari yan. Proper maintenance and proper care for your motorcycle is the key. Don't do it like me. Come on, look at this thing. Look at it! Now, the usability, na-mention ko na to lots of times eh. Meron ng usability factor yung MT-15 kumpara sa GSX-S, lalo na sa city riding. Mas mataas yung torque niya, lower in the rev range, mas madali siya dalhin. And hindi mo kailangan i-ring out yung leeg nung makina just to get your torque and power. Sa GSX naman, yeah, I mean, it's efficient enough. Siguro kailangan na onting tono, hindi modification-wise, pero galing sa factory. It needs a little bit more refinement. Maybe forgiven since technically first revision pa lang to ng bike and the last update was just a screen and blinker update, so that's not much of a difference. Let's give them a chance. Let's give Suzuki a chance to improve their bike. Siyempre, lahat naman ng manufacturers, they have to learn through the inputs of their riders. Gearing and transmission. This is where the MT-15 leads the pack in this segment. With a slipper clutch system, kumpara sa other motorcycles in this segment, malaki yung difference niya lalo na sa mga gusto mag-sporty riding. So, what does the slipper clutch do? Para hindi sobrang scientific or sobrang specific yung explanation, Sabihin na lang natin na it makes downshifts easier. Hindi magla-lock up yung rear wheel mo under heavy deceleration or engine braking or sudden downshifts. Parang maliit siyang guardian para sa shifting patterns mo para hindi ka mag-skid or mawalan ng control under heavy engine braking or downshifting. On the GSX-S, sure, it's a 6-speed like the MT-15. Pero sometimes it gets mushy and mahirap ibalik sa neutral. Yeah, I'm sure na maraming magsasabi, kailangan mo lang practicein ganito, ganyan, engine oil. But the general design ng transmission, siguro it's not that bad, but it could use a little improvement. I'm not hating on Suzuki here. I am a proud owner of one. Pero I'm just pointing out that there are actual flaws dun sa bike na they could be improved, diba? Hindi naman pwedeng ganyan lang yan permanently just because it works. It can't be improved. The top speed, yeah. Let's not talk about that. Never mind, okay? The brakes. Front and rear, alam mo, it doesn't really matter kung gaano kalaki yung disc brakes ng dalawang bikes na to. It all comes down to the braking feel, yung sa handling mismo ng bike kasi they both don't have ABS. Now, yun nga, like I mentioned earlier in this video, yung GSX merong ABS and I think, but I'm not sure, meron ding ABS ang MT-15 on other market. Pero on the Philippine market, they have absolutely none. So this boils down to the ability of the rider to emergency brake. Depende talaga to sa rider. Although, both brakes are very, very nice. So, in the braking segment, hindi ko sila bibigyan ng specific na points or downsides kasi in all honesty, nasa braking ability to ng rider. So, like I said, you gotta test drive the bikes first before you actually rip the cord and buy one of these. Suspension, yeah, this is another thing that Suzuki skimped out. But let's get onto that in a bit. Pero unahin natin yung weight. There's a clear advantage ng GSX here for only weighing about 130 kilograms. And the MT-15 weighing 133 kilograms, medyo may disadvantage nga ito sa weight. But then again, like I said, mga 3 araw lang ng kain yan. In all honesty, mababawi mo yung 3 kilograms na yan. So, there's small displacement bikes. They're supposed to be light. And this does not make much of a difference in the real world. Diba? Let's be honest here. Hindi lahat nababasa lang sa spec sheets. So, let's get back to the suspension. Both have a monoshock system in the rear, though the MT-15 has a better swing arm. In general, mas maganda talaga yung design and pagkakagawa sa kanya. Pero pagdating naman sa front suspension, ayan na, may upside down fork difference na. It's an upside down fork for the MT-15 and regular side up forks for the GSX-S. This is a deal breaker for some, syempre, kasi pag nag-upgrade ka ng upside down forks for the GSX, it's almost 22k plus pa labor, plus pa yung other parts na in case hindi sakto yung fit. This narrows the gap between the two, lalo na yung price tag nila, which we'll talk about later. Totoo lang, hindi mo makikita ang difference ng upside down forks sa right side up forks kapag in daily use. If you're not on the track, you're absolutely not gonna notice this. Siyempre, mas malaki lang yung difference niya kapag on looks, mas pogi talaga yung upside down forks. Di mo magkakait yan. You can't take that away from bikes with upside down forks. They look professional and mature. Mas aggressive talaga yung design nila. For tires, ang GSX front tire is 90 by 80 by 17 inches and the rear tire being 130 by 70 and 17 inches. Sa MT-15 naman, it's 110 by 70 by 17 inches and for the rear, it's 140 by 70 by 17 inches. So, right away, mas makapal yung tires nila. Oops! Bago ka mag-comment dyan na, oh, ganito ganyan yung tire difference lagi. No. It doesn't always boil down kung gaano kalapad yung tires. Lalo na yung mga warrior dyan na sinasabi, cornering talaga yung difference ng wider tires. Yes, this is true. Ang cornering ability ng marami sa mga bikes, almost all of them, naapektuhan ng width ng tire dahil sa contact patch niya to the road. Siyempre, that's the only thing that keeps your bikes on the road. It's the tires. Now, hindi lamang sa how soft the tire is or how good the compound is, pero dahil din to sa mags ng motorcycle. For example, kung may 3.5 inch ka na mags and pasakan mo ng 150, magmumukhang donut talaga yan. Ito just boils down sa riding style mo. Pwede ka naman magpalit ng width ng tires. It's no problem. It's just that mas maganda lang talaga tignan. Mas mukhang big bike kapag bigger yung tires, which is, I don't know why for some people it's a deal breaker. But in reality, ganito na lang isipin natin. the bikes that go on the track, hindi nila hinahanap yung biggest width ng tire. It's the general design nung pinaglalagay ng tire and the rims or mags, depends on what you call it. And it just boils down honestly sa riding style mo. If you wanna go kneel all out, banking ka, get Pirelli tires or something. Pero siguro dahil mo lang nasakto sa manufacturer na recommended tire. So for the tires, they both have something na of an advantage. Since the GSX has skinnier tires, mas efficient siya tumakbo, a little bit of a higher top speed from time to time, depende sa rider and riding conditions. And the MT-15 has the cornering advantage. Like I mentioned earlier, it has upside down forks and a little bit of a wider tire system. Now, comfort. Hindi ako nakapag-try ng MT-15 for a long time or a lot of experience around it. Pero I did ask the forums, I did ask the page. Medyo uncomfortable talaga yung seats niya. Pero it's not as bad as to the extent na GSX-S150. Yeah, it has a really, really bad seat design. Alam mo, let's just be honest here. Both of them are bad seats. Sanayan na lang to. But yun nga, proper rider condition, proper seat time lang. Pahinga rin time to time. Kahit anong motorcycle sila, kahit gaano ka comfortable, mangangalay ka pagdating sa malayo ang biyahe. So, take a break. Lalo na kapag malayo-layo yung biyahe. There's no problem yan. Sitting down, let your bike cool down a bit. Pahinga ka, magkape ka. Just chill for a bit. Hindi naman, for most of us, hindi naman umaalis yung pupuntahan. Pero syempre, kapag nagmamadali ka pumunta, sure, that's a bit of excusable. Pero kapag nagmamadali ka, always remember, keep your head cool, okay? Hindi naman worth risking your life para lang makarating ka doon sa pupuntahan mo. Mas maganda na makarating ka ng buhay, di ba? Now, for the final segment, the price. With the GSX coming in at 112,800 pesos and the MT-15 coming in at actually a pretty high 159,000 pesos, which yun nga, halos kasing presyo na ng GSX-R, is pretty heavy for the wallets of us riders. Pero like I mentioned earlier, meron siyang maraming tech na wala ang GSX. So, what is the verdict on this comparison between the two? Honestly, walang panalo eh. Ang panalo dito yung rider. Kasi kung tutuusin, dalawa yan eh. There are two choices. Kung gusto mo na andun na halos lahat ng kailangan mo, andun na yung slipper clutch, upside down fork, yung halos wala ka nang babaguhin, I do recommend go with the MT-15. No question. Rekta na. Paglabas mo ng showroom, you're good to go. Ride ka na agad, pogi na yan. Hindi mo na kailangan i-upgrade yung shocks and things like that. Kapag gusto mo naman mag-modify or mahilig ka sa modification, napakagandang base ang GSX series for this reason. Lalo na yung engine niya shares with the Raider 150 Fi. Parami yung modification na options for this bike. From camshaft to bore kit. Mas keen talaga siya sa mga mindset ng mga rider na gusto namin mag-modify. Kahit sabihin ng iba, edi dapat bumili ka na lang ng higher displacement. Well, our reason is nag-e-enjoy kami mag-modify. We have the satisfaction na nakukuha namin kapag nagmo-modify kami ng motor. I'm not saying the MT-15 has lack of parts. There's a lot of parts for the MT-15. Ang sinasabi ko lang, it's more modification friendly and GSX since marami kang pwedeng palitan due to it being parang kapatid ng Raider 150 Fi. Pero overall, both of these bikes are pretty good when it's stock. It just boils down sa kung alin talaga yung gusto mo. So, yeah, that's about it. If you like the video, leave a subscribe and a like. If you dislike it, tell me why in the comments below. And this is Sky Zero, always reminding you to always stay safe.